Okay, so this is my week 7 video journal for my INTS 3330 Global Perspectives class. This is the last week before spring break, so next week will be no journal posting, and then we'll start again after spring break is over. This week we also didn't have class. Today is Tuesday class day, but instead we met with our group so that we could begin working on this rough draft for our final project, which is the rough draft is due next Tuesday the 24th. So today we had a meeting. It was our second meeting as a group. In the first meeting, we were kind of like at a loss of where to start. It was kind of all a little bit overwhelming. So we began by looking through the outline that we had created for assignment 2 and starting just, right at the beginning with lesson 1 and kind of just analyzing how much more detail we really needed to go in because, obviously in the outline we just had really brief descriptions of what each of these activities were going to be. And in this rough draft, we really want to get detailed instructions typed out, nice looking headings, and even make most of the worksheets that are going to be within the book. So in that first meeting, which was last Thursday, we met at the library, and we got through lesson 1, and we were there for an hour and a half. So that was, we were all working really hard and working really well together. We just, it was really hard to kind of figure out how we were going to start. I think that was probably the hardest part, was just starting. So that is where that began. Like I said, we only got lesson 1 done in that first meeting last Thursday. And after that, we had been there for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Everyone was kind of like, oh my gosh, we only got 1 lesson done. We still have 15 more to do, and this is due in, 2 weeks. So we all began to kind of freak out. But I said, now that we have this outline of how we want to do each lesson, I think the rest of the lessons to go a little bit smoother, so let's make a goal for next meeting, which was today, to get lessons 2 and 3 done. So we met today in the library again at 11 a.m. and we got lessons 2 and 3 done. We were there still a little over an hour. We kind of got to talking about how we're going to incorporate the online students more because we tried to video chat them into the meetings, and it just wasn't translating really well because we were using those media centers, and they just couldn't really see what we were doing on the computer. So that really didn't work out too well. So all of us kind of talked about it, and we decided that maybe the best route to go would be for all of us that are able to attend the face-to-face class people, and then plus Ryan, who is an online student, but he is local to Lubbock, so he can come to the meetings. So that's 6 people out of the 8 in our group. So us 6 are going to divide up the lesson plans. Now that we've done 3 of the lessons together, we kind of know what the process is and how we're going to organize all of it. So we've delegated the lessons out again to kind of divide and conquer like we did with the outline, because there are so many more lessons, and because this is due right after spring break, we decided that would probably be the best idea. So as far as the online students who can't attend meetings, we didn't want to give them lessons to create because they haven't really been in those 2 meetings that we were in, making it a lot harder, and we were worried that maybe they wouldn't really understand how we were putting all the worksheet or all of the lessons together, like the workbook pages. So we thought it would be better for them to be in charge of creating the worksheet activities. So if a lesson requires, one of the activities is a fill in the blank sheet or a matching sheet with pictures and an animal's name, then they're in charge of creating those worksheets that are going to go in the lessons that require worksheets. So I think there's 6 lessons out of the 16 that require worksheets. So Shakira and Jared are going to be in charge of making those worksheets, while the rest of us are working on typing out detailed instructions for activities and games to put in the workbook for the teachers. So we have quite a bit to do. It's kind of difficult, especially with spring break coming up, because I am going out of town. I know a couple other people are going out of town, so it's going to be it's going to be a struggle to really buckle down and get all this done before the due date. I think we can do it. I think we'll be fine. This is only the rough draft, so we have time to fix and finalize things before we make this final product that's due at the end of the semester. So that's keeping me going. But I mean, we had a test today. Exam 2 was due today. That I again struggled with the exam. I've read and I've answered the discussion questions that have been due each week, and I've done pretty well on them. So, but the exams, I've failed both of them now. So I'm just feeling a little stressed out about that. I'm not really sure how to study for them. The questions are just so specific. Plus, there are 100 questions each, so it's a little overwhelming. So I'm worried about that, but I'm hoping if we are able to just really put together this workbook finalized product at the end, which is like the main part of this course, I feel like the service learning aspect, if we really like ace this workbook and make it something really awesome for these kids in Zanzibar, hopefully that'll help keep my grade out of the gutter because of those failed exams. But like I said, I mean, I did everything I could to try and do better, and I just couldn't get it. So hopefully that'll improve. Maybe Dr. Tanner could have some insight on how to improve our exam scores, because as I talked to my group members, everyone else really struggled with the exam too. So that's about all for this week. Like I said, next week is spring break, so we're going to be finishing working on those assignments that we've divided out to each other. I'm doing Standard 1, Lesson 7, and Standard 2, Lesson 1. I'll be writing out the detailed instructions of what it's actually going to look like in that workbook when the teacher looks at it, what her instructions are going to read, examples of whatever the activity is so that they can kind of follow a script if they're not really familiar with a type of the activity that we've put in, like maybe a song or I don't know, we have Simon Says as one of the games, and we kind of figure they don't know how to play Simon Says, so having to just kind of write out word for word instructions on how to do some of these games and activities is all part of this workbook. So that is what we're working on. I think now that we've worked together these 2 meetings face-to-face, like I said, we'll really be able to do a good job separately in finishing out the rest of the lessons to turn in that rough draft. So that's all I got. Excited for spring break. I'm going on vacation, so I'm ready for that. And then when we get back, it'll be time to buckle down and get this project finished. So I'll check back for week 8. Thank you.